security and cryptography fundamentals. Like we are already doing discussing about web security considerations, SSL layer, transport security layer, and we have discussed a bit about SCT. Today we are going to discuss in detail about SCT. So let's have a overview about all the techniques that have been discussed so far. And before discussing those techniques, let's discuss about the objective. You will be learning web security techniques at the end of this class. So this is our objective. So this is the content that I have covered in entire 3 or 4 lectures. First one was web security consideration. Second is SSL layer. Third is transport layer security, and fourth is secure electronic transactions. So what was there in web security considerations? Have a look at the same. We have discussed various terms that are related to web security because it is a client server application that is running over the internet and TCP/IP intranets. So web security is also known as cyber security, as you already know, because it is concerning with web. So it could involve protecting that information by preventing, detecting, and responding to the attacks. So the web is very visible. It could be a complex software that could hide many security flaws. So there are certain threats that we have discussed. One-way threat could be active attack or passive attack. Another way is related to location of the threat. Third is various web traffic security approaches that we have discussed. That is, web security provide to use IP security. Web security provide to use IP security. Advantages of using IP security is that it is transparent to end users and applications. IP security includes a filtering capability so that only selected traffic need incur the overhead of IP security processing. Next is the foremost example of this approach is secure socket layer and transport layer that we have already discussed in detail. So there are various comparisons on the threats on the web that we have discussed. There are 4 points that are supposed to be considered. First one is integrity, second is confidentiality, third is denial of services, fourth is authentication. So what are the certain threats that are related to integrity that we have discussed? In addition, we have discussed consequences, what could be the consequences for the same. In addition, we have discussed what could be the countermeasures for the same. So second point was confidentiality. So there are certain threats that we have discussed that are having concern with confidentiality. In addition, we have discussed consequences, and moving forward, we have discussed countermeasures that could be encryption or web proxies. Third is denial of services. That is, we have discussed various threats that are associated with the same. In addition, we have discussed consequences and countermeasures. Last is authentication, in which we have discussed various threats that are related to the same and consequences and countermeasures that are related to the same. We have discussed security facilities in TCP/IP protocol stack. You can have a look at the same that could be discussed, that have been discussed at network level, transport level, and application level. So all these protocols have been discussed one by one in detail. So next is secure socket layer. In secure socket layer, we have discussed about the difference between HTTPS, what is the operation of HTTP, what is the operation of HTTPS, who developed SSL, what are the operations that are concerned with SSL, and why SSL was designed. So these are the if and buts of the SSL that we have discussed. So this is the architecture that we have discussed, in which we have discussed SSL record protocol in detail, handshake protocol, change cipher spec protocol, alert protocol, and HTTP. So let's have a look at each of them one by one. So there are 2 important concepts that we have discussed, that is connection and session. Have a look at the same. That is, we are supposed to establish a connection between server and a client. So how we could do that with the help of these connection and server points. So this is the record protocol that we have discussed in detail. You can have a look at the same, what could be there in the record protocol, that is HTTP, handshake protocol, change cipher spec protocol, and alert protocol. So in addition, it could provide 2 various connections that are concerned with confidentiality and message integrity. Next is we have discussed the operation of the protocol, that is SSL record protocol operation. There are certain points that are associated with same. So there are basically 5 points. First is the application data, second is to divide the data, third is to compress, fourth is to add message authentication header, fifth is to encrypt the data, and sixth is to append the header to the same. So next is we have discussed about the format for the same. So these are 4 types of categories on which the SSL record format is designed. That is content type, major version, minor version, and compressed length. So there are certain points that are associated with higher level protocols. So we have discussed about the same. Handshake protocol. So that is the core of this whole lecture, or I can say security lecture. Handshake protocol is must. So we are supposed to learn about that, and we have already discussed about the same. I am just giving you the overview. In handshake procedure, we are supposed to have a look at acknowledgement as well. So that is why it is sending and receiving. Sending and receiving. Acknowledgement is also going. Next is we have discussed change cipher spec protocol and alert protocol. So these are the 2 types of protocols that we have discussed. Next we have discussed about TLS. What we have discussed in TLS, let's have a look at the same. That is transport layer secure. Now why I am discussing these points, because these are having connection with the topic that I am going to discuss, so that you can brush up your knowledge about the same that we have discussed so far, because these all the topics have been covered in 2 to 3 lectures. So that is why I am giving you an overview about the same. So these are certain points that are associated with TLS. Basically, it is concerned with email, internet faxing, and other data transfers. Next is it is dealing with version number. So we have discussed a lot about version number. What would be the updated version number, and what were the various difficulties in the previous number that could lead us to the generation of the new version number. So we have discussed that in detail. Next is message authentication code, that is to authenticate a message. So there are 2 techniques that have been used, SSL v3 and TLS MAC schemes, that are based on actual algorithm and scope of the MAC calculation. Next we have discussed about pseudo random function, that is defined here. Next, certain alert codes that are there. 9 alert codes could be generated. Cipher suites that we have discussed. So that is the collection of symmetric or asymmetric encryption algorithms. Certificate authority we have discussed. Finished messages we have discussed. And last is padding that we have discussed so far. Now moving to the new section, that is secure electronic transaction. So what is basically there in secure electronic transaction? We are supposed to have a look at the same. What is basically secure electronic transaction? So as the name implies, secure electronic transaction. So it could be a communication protocol. Now what could be a communication protocol? Because whatever term I am referring, it must be having some kind of meaning behind the same. So what is basically a communication protocol? If SAT is a communication protocol, it could be a system of rules that allow protocol. Protocol is the rules, communication rules that could be defined. So it is a system of rules that allow 2 or more entities of a communication system to transmit information via any kind of variation of a physical quantity. So the protocol defines the rules, syntax, semantics, and synchronization of the communication and possible error recovery messages. So it could be a standard for securing credit card. Now what is basically a credit card? It could be a payment card issued to users, that is card holders, to enable the card holder to pay a merchant for goods and services based on the card holder accrued debt. So the card issuer creates a revolving account and grants a line of credit to the card holder from which the card holder can borrow money. So there could be a transactions that could be related over the networks. Now what is basically a network? It could be any computer network, that is the group of computers that use a set of common communication protocols over digital interconnections for the purpose of sharing resources located on the located or provided by the network nodes. So The specific example is internet, that is the global system for interconnected computer networks. So SCT was not itself a payment system. Now what is payment system? Mean to say it is any system that is used to settle financial transactions through the transfer of monetary value, but rather a set of security protocols and formats that enable user to employ the existing card payment infrastructure on an open network in a secure fashion. So, however, it is failed to gain attraction in the market. Visa now promotes 3D Secure Scheme. Now, what is 3D Secure Scheme? It is a protocol that is designed to be an additional security layer for online credit card and debit card transactions. So, the name refers to three domains which interact using the protocol: the merchant or the acquirer domain, the issuer domain, and the interoperability domain. Next is secure electronic transaction is a system for ensuring the security of financial transactions on the internet, and it was supported initially by MasterCard, Visa, Microsoft, Netscape, and others. So many companies exist for the same who were supporting this in the first instance. So basically with SCT, a user is given an electronic wallet or a digital certificate, and the transaction is conducted and verified using a combination of digital certificates and digital signatures among the purchaser, a merchant, and the purchaser bank in a way that ensures privacy and confidentiality. So let's discuss about what is basically the transaction. So it is a communication protocol standard for securing credit card transactions over insecure networks, specifically internet. So companies involved could be MasterCard, Visa, IBM, Microsoft, Netscape, and VeriSign. It is not a payment system, it is a set of security protocols and format. So there are various services that are provided by SCT. Have a look at the same. It provides a secure communication channel in a transaction, and it provides trust by the use of digital signatures or certificates, and it ensures privacy. So what is the basic procedure behind the same? This is the participants who are behind the SCT technique. So have a look at this diagram carefully, because SCT revolves around this diagram. So what is that? Card holder. It could be card of any person who is having the card, that is credit card holder person. Next is we are using internet. We are, and the card details are sent to the merchant. Next, merchant is again performing some kind of functions, that is via internet. Payment gateway could be there, and there is a acquirer of the card. So he will be acquiring certificate from the issuing authority, and then there is a issuer who is issuing the certificates. So all these are having connection with each other in this participant network. So there are 10 interpretations for all the descriptions that have been happening here are given. So first one is the customer opens an account. Second is the customer receives a certificate. Next is merchants have their own certificates. Third is customer places an order. Fifth is merchant is verified. Sixth is the order and payment are sent. Next, merchant requests payment authorization. Next, merchant confirms the order. Next, merchant provides the goods or services. Next, merchant requests payment. So what is basically this procedure that I told you? What is basically, because the secure electronic transaction is a system which could ensure security and integrity of electronic transactions that are done using credit card in a scenario. So SCT is not some system that enable payment, but it is a security protocol that could be applied on those payments. So it uses different encryption and hashing techniques to secure payments over internet done through credit cards. So SCT protocol was supported in development by major organizations like Visa, MasterCard, as I told you earlier, Microsoft, which provides secure transaction technology, and Netscape that developed secure socket layer. So it restricts revealing of credit card details to the merchant, thus keeping hackers and thieves at the bay. So it issues, SCT protocol includes certificate authorities for making use of standard digital certificates like X.509 certificate. But before discussing about the SCT further, let's see a general scenario of the electronic transaction, which include client, payment gateway, client financial institution, merchant and merchant financial institution. As you can see in the picture, there are certain requirements in the SET, like it has some requirements to meet, and some of the important requirements are already defined in the picture. So have a look at the same. It has to provide mutual authentication. How it could provide mutual authentication, that is customer or a card holder authentication by confirming if the customer is intended user or not, and merchant authentication. Next is it has to keep the PI, that is payment information, and order information, that is UI, confidential by appropriate encryptions. Third could be it has to be resistive against message modification, that is no changes should be allowed in the content that is being transmitted. Fourth could be it also need to provide interoperability and make use of best security mechanism. So what are basically participants in SET? So have a look at the diagram and we will discuss one by one. So in the general scenario of the online transaction, SET include various participants that could be: first is card holder, that could be any customer. Next is issuer, that is customer financial institution, that is concerned with customer financial institution. Next is merchant. Next is acquirer, that is merchant financial institution. Next is certificate authority, that is authority which follows certain standards and issue certificate, that is X.509. We are taking recent example, and it could allow all other participants. So there are certain functionalities that are associated with SET. So what are those? That is, it could provide authentication. So what is basically authentication? What are the various types of authentication that it could provide? That is merchant authentication, customer card holder authentication. So what is basically merchant authentication here? That is to prevent theft. SET allow customers to check previous relationship between merchant and financial institution. Standard X.509 certificates, they could be used for this verification. In addition, customer or card holder authentication, what could be there in that? That is SET check if use of credit card is done by an authorized user or not using X.90 certificate. So next could be provide message confidentiality. How it could provide message confidentiality? That is, it could refer to preventing unintended people from reading the messages that are being transferred. So SET implements confidentiality by using encryption techniques. Traditionally, DES is used for encryption purpose. Next is message integrity. How message integrity could be provided? SET does not allow message modification with the help of signatures. Messages are protected against unauthorized modification using RSA. Now, I am using DES term here, RSA term here. What is DES? What is RSA? So there are certain algorithms that one can use for encryption. If I am talking about DES algorithm, it is a 64-bit encryption scheme, that is a symmetric algorithm, and symmetric algorithm can use one private key. So one key is used for encryption and decryption. So there is a 56-bit key that is used to fetch 64-bit plain text, and there are 16 rounds that are associated with the algorithm of DES. So after performing each round, there are certain sub-steps that could be associated with each round, like permutation, combination, PC1, PC2, that is permuted choice 1, permuted choice 2. So these are all the things that we have discussed. In addition, we have to perform swapping, we have to perform substitution so that we can match the requirement. So there could be a first round. So next round, while we are moving to the next round, there could be exclusive OR gate that one is defined to use. In addition, we could be dealing with left circular shift, right circular shift, permutation, combination through 16 steps. And after performing 16 steps, we will be able to retrieve the ciphertext in the form of the 64-bit. So if I am talking about integrity, confidentiality is using DES and integrity is using RSA. Now what is RSA? It is based on public key cryptography, in which two keys are used. That is, one is public key and one is private key. So public key is known to all and private key is known only to the receiver, so that he or she can decrypt the messages that are being sent by the originator. So if I am talking about RSA, now RSA is concerned with large numbers, huge large prime numbers, so that it would be complex, there could involve complex operations that would not be easy for the hacker to do the same in order to have the information. So that is why we are dealing with RSA algorithm here. So next is we are supposed to discuss dual signature. So what is basically dual signature here? The dual signature, as the name implies, you can have a look at the same. That is dual signature. So what is basically the function of the dual signature. That is, it is a concept that is introduced with SET, which aims at connecting two information. Dual means two, to connecting two pieces of information that are meant for two different receivers. So it is OI for merchant, PI for bank. Order information and payment information. Order information is concerned with merchant, payment information is for bank. So you might think sending them separately is an easy and more secure way, but sending them in a connected form resolve any future disputes possible. So there could be a generation of the dual signature that is associated with the same. So you can have a look at the same. So what is PI, what is OI, as I told you earlier. Now have a look at the interpretation. PI stands for payment information, OI stands for order information. PIMD stands for Payment Information Message Digest. OIMD stands for Order Information Message Digest. So POMD stands for Payment Order Message Digest. H stands for hashing. E stands for public key encryption. KPC stands for customer private key. And two concatenation symbols are used, that is to append information or append operation. Dual signature, that is concerned with E, that is encryption. KPC is used where we are supposed to perform hashing and we are supposed to append header to PI and OI. Next is there is a purchase request generation. It is concerned with 3 steps basically. So what could be those 3 steps? The process of purchase request generation require 3 inputs, that is PI, dual signature and OIMD. So that is payment information, dual signature, order information, message digest. So the purchase request is generated as follow. Have a look at the same. This is the purchase request. You can have a look at the entities that have been described here. So here PI, OIMD, OI all have the same meanings as before. The new things are EP, which is symmetric key encryption. KS is the temporary key symmetric. KU bank is public key of bank and CA is card holder or customer certificate. Next is digital envelope, that is consist of encryption of the KU bank and KS. Next is purchase request validation on merchant side. So what could be that? That is the merchant verifies by comparing POMD that is generated through PIMD hashing with POMD generated through decryption of the signature. So you can have a look at the same. So we are supposed to verify, merchant verify by comparing POMD generated through PIMD hashing with POMD generated through decryption of the dual signature. You can have a look at the procedure that is given here. We are supposed to add digital envelope plus PIMD plus OI plus dual signature plus CA. That could be fed to the append operator. Append is again feeding with the OI is feeding with the hashing. In addition, it is feeding with the OIMD, and that is going to append the same. And after that, hash operation will be performed, and POMD will be there. And you can have a look at the below of the. You can see the diagram that is residing below. That is dual signature plus CA could be decrypted with the help of the KU key, and that could be fed to the POMD. So both POMDs could be same in the end. So that is, we are supposed to use customer private key in encryption. Here we use KUC. As you can see below D, there is a KUC, which is a public key of customer and card holder key for the decryption. So next is payment authorization and payment capture. So what is the basic procedure behind the same? Now what is payment authorization? As the name suggests, it is the authorization of the payment information by merchant, which ensures payment will be received by merchant. So payment capture is the process by which merchant receive payment, which include again generating some request blocks to gateway, and payment gateway in turn issues payment to the merchant. So this is all the process that I have explained it to you. You can have a look at the same again. So this process revolve around this process only. ACT participants, card holder, internet, certificate authority, issuer, payment network, acquirer, payment gateway, internet, merchant. So all this process is defined here. The purpose of dual signature is to link two messages that are intended for two different recipients. So in this case, the customer wants to send the order information to the merchant and the payment information to the bank. So it can also mean that the use of encryption with the two electronic signatures as the security measure for delivering an electronic message in a secure electronic transaction. So this is the main process. You can have a look at the same. Payment information, order information, we are supposed to perform hashing here. Next, PIMD and OIMD, and we are supposed to append the same. After appending the same, we are again supposed to perform hashing. Then POMD will be generated, and after POMD is generated, we are supposed to encrypt the same with the help of some key, and we are supposed to direct it toward the dual signature. So this is the whole process. If you are having any query regarding same, you can ask me. Next is we are dealing with the payment processing process. So what is basically there in the payment processing process? You can have a look at this picture. Then you can tell me what is the problem with the same. Payment information plus dual signature plus OIMD, that could be leading to the encryption, and encryption could be done with the help of some key. Then again we are supposed to generate encrypted key that could be used, and we are supposed to deal with the request message here. So that could be a digital envelope encrypted message that could be here. In addition, PIMD that could be here, because we are using two keys here, that is associated with bank and that is associated with the person. So in that manner we are supposed to request a message, and a message could be generated that is consist of the compressed message, or I can say encrypted message. So this is the digital envelope that is also encrypted. We are supposed to add PIMD to the same plus OI to the same plus dual signature plus card holder certificate. So all these are received by the merchant, and this could be passed on by merchant to the payment gateway. So this is the whole process that we have discussed here. What is entities will remain the same, but only thing that might different is the procedure. So you can have a look at the same. So next is how we can process the payment here. Request message is there. In addition, we are supposed to deal with the request message. In request message, what are the entities that could be there? Digital envelope, PIMD, OI, dual signature, card holder, certificate. So that could be dealing to the hashing. So PIMD is dealing with hashing and OI is dealing with hashing, plus after hashing we are supposed to deal with the OIMD, and OIMD could be appended with PIMD, and again hashing could be performed to generate POMD. And below level, at the below level, dual signature is leading to the decryption, but with the help of the card holder key that could be used. And in addition, we would be directed toward the POMD. Now we are supposed to compare POMD here. We are supposed to compare POMD here. So this is the way how this works. Next is purchase request transaction, that is customer, that is merchant. So we are supposed to initiate the request, we are supposed to initiate the response. So what is there in the request and what is there in the response, have a look at the same. That is the customer request the certificate, the merchant includes the certificate, the messages include other information, the messages include other information. Purchase request, purchase response, that is it could verify the merchant and gateway certificates, give the purchase response message. So this is all about this. So what more could be added to the secure electronic transaction? So we are supposed to have a look at the key features for the same. So what could be the key features of secure electronic transaction? That is to meet the business requirement, SET incorporate various features that could be confidentiality of information, integrity of data, cardholder account authentication, or merchant authentication. So what could be the participants here? What could be the participants? What are the roles of participant? That is, SET system includes various participants, that is cardholder, merchant. Now what is merchant? It is a person who trades in commodities produced by other people, especially one who trades with foreign countries. Next is issuer, that is issuing bank is the bank that offer card association branded payment cards directly to the consumer, for example credit card, debit card. Next is acquirer. Who is acquirer here? Acquiring, it is a bank or a financial institution that processes credit or debit card payments on the behalf of the merchant. Next is the payment gateway. What is payment gateway? It is the merchant service provided by an e-commerce application service provider that authorizes credit card or direct payment processing for e-businesses. Next is certificate authority. What is basically certificate authority in cryptography? Certificate authority or CA, it is an entity that issues digital signature. A certificate authority certifies the ownership of the public key by the named subject of the certificate. So this allows others to rely upon signatures or on assertions made about the public key. Next is how does it work? Basically, how does it work? So both cardholders and merchant must register with CA, that is certificate authority, first before they can buy or sell on the internet. So once the registration is done, cardholder and merchant can do the transaction. So which involve 9 basic steps in this protocol, which could be simplified. The first step could be, I can explain you each and every step in detail. 9 steps are there. First is customer borrows the website and decide on what to purchase. Like customer browse, like if I am a customer and I want to do online shopping, so what could be my procedure? Like I am supposed to avail the internet first, and I am supposed to browse the internet. After browsing internet or after browsing the particular shopping website, I will decide what should I purchase. Next is customer send order and payment information, which include 2 parts in one message. It could be dealing with purchase order, it could be dealing with card information. So if it is dealing with purchase order, what could be the case? That this part is for merchant card information, this part is for merchant banks only. Next is merchant forward card information part to their bank, that is B part could be sent to the bank, that is card information that is consist with the merchant bank only. Third could be merchant bank checks with the issuer for payment authorization. Next is issuer send authorization to the merchant banks. Next is merchant bank send authorization to the merchant. Next is merchant completes the order and send confirmation to the customer. And next is merchant capture the transaction from their bank. And last is issuer prints the credit card bill invoice to the customer. So this is the whole process that we are supposed to deal with. Have a look at the same. So there could be certain 9 steps that could be associated with same. That is the task that is performed by the gateway, payment gateway, or I can say it could verify all the certificates, decrypt digital envelope of the authorization block to obtain symmetric key, and then decrypt authorization block. Next is it could verify merchant signature on authorization block. Next is it could decrypt digital envelope of payment block to obtain symmetric key and then decrypt payment block. Next is it could verify dual signature on payment block. Next is it could verify the transaction ID received from the merchant that could matches that in the PI received from the customer. Next is it could request and receive an authorization from issuer, and next is it could send authorization response back to the merchant. Now why we have used star here? That is authorization related information that could capture token information to affect payment later, and it is also associated with certificate. So this is about the secure electronic transaction that we have discussed. Now, if you are having any query regarding same, I am giving you a time of 2 minutes. Have a look at all the slides that have been discussed so far. And if you are having any query, you can ask me any question. The main procedure that we are intended to encounter in SAT is dual signature. So the purpose is to link two messages that are intended for two different recipients. Now there are certain questions that could be associated with the secure electronic transaction. First is what could be the key features for the same, that is confidentiality of information, integrity, cardholder account authentication, and merchant authentication. Next could be how secure electronic transaction is made possible. So it could be made possible, which ensures security and integrity of the electronic transaction, that is done through credit cards in this scenario. So it uses different encryption and hashing technique to secure payments over the internet that are done through credit cards. Next is some compliances to look for in payment processing provide encryption, secure socket layer, secure hypertext transfer protocol, secure electronic transaction. Secure electronic transaction could be their payment card industry, that is PCI compliances that we have discussed yesterday. Safe login screen, next digital signature, and next is address verification system for all transactions. Now, before coming to the SET, what is basically electronic transaction? So it is the sale or purchase of good or services, whether between businesses, households, individuals, governments, and other public or private organizations that are conducted over computer-mediated networks. So what do you mean by secure transaction? Basically, that is the question. It is the secure transaction, that is a loan or a credit card transaction in which the lender acquires a security interest in collateral owned by the borrower, and it is entitled to foreclose on or response the collateral in the event of the borrower default. So how does secure payment work basically? So this is my question. It allows the website to process the credit card information and ensure the payment is received. So it works like a connection through which online transactions can be moved automatically from the customer to the retailer. So most online payment gateway solutions offer a complete payment solution. Now, how do you handle payment securely? That is to understand your obligations, use only approved equipments and software, make sure all electronic storage of credit card account number is encrypted and all paper storage is secured, make sure any phone recordings that contain credit card account numbers are encrypted. So in addition, we can use advanced anti-malware program, watch out security vulnerabilities in your PC, make sure you are using a secure connection, deal with reputed websites only, use credit cards for online shopping, do not use public computer, set a strong and complex password. So these could be the points. Next is why are secure transaction important? So it is an agreement between two parties in which one of the party give property that is other than real estate as collateral or security for a loan. These codes are particularly important for a non-possessory security interest where no property exchanges hands unless it is necessary. So why do we have secure transaction? What is the purpose of secure transaction? That is, a security interest promotes economic security because it provides the lender with the promise of repayment. So if the borrower defaults on the loan, then the lender should be able to recoup the loan amount by taking the agreed upon asset, using as collateral and selling it. Like if you take a loan against property and you are unable to repay the same, then your property will be sealed or it could be sold by the banking authorities. Now, what is the point of secure transaction? One of the most well-known UCC, that is provision, is the requirement of the perfecting a security interest. So in general, a secure transaction is designed to provide a lender with recourse in the event that the borrower is unable to repay the loan. So primarily by taking possession of the asset and selling it. So what are the advantages of online transaction? This is the topic that I am going to discuss. This is advantages like reaching global audiences, reduced cost for transaction, payment security, optimized customer journey, payment method acceptance, more marketing, distribution channels available, more appealing to impulse buyers, recurring payment capabilities. So these could be the advantages for the same. So what are the safety or security measures of the online? That is, don't share your password. So password of your internet banking account is one other important factor in online transactions. So with a password that is easy to guess, you are only inviting cyber attacks. So setting a complicated password and keep changing it regularly. Apart from this, don't share your password with anyone. What it is used in electronic cash payment? eCash is a form of electronic payment system where a certain amount of money is stored on the client device and made accessible for online transactions. So stored value card, that is a card with a certain amount of money that can be used to perform the transactions in the issuer store. So what are the various types of payment systems? So there are various types of payment systems that are available. First, it could be credit card, that we have discussed a lot in detail. As a global payment solution, credit cards are most common way for customers to pay online. Next is mobile payments. Third is bank transfer, e-wallets, prepaid cards, direct deposit, or cash could be used for the same. So what are the steps that could be involved in the STT transaction? The customer open a MasterCard or a Visa bank account. The customer receives a digital certificate. Third party merchant also receives certificates from the bank. The customer places an order over a web page, by phone, or by some other means. So next is, what are the types of electronic transaction? So e-payment type include ACH, that is right and bank transfer, cards, digital wallets, mobile pay, and more. So it could be added to more, that is credit cards, bank transfers, digital wallet, automated clearing house, that is ACH, e-checks via the automated clearing house or ACH. So what is our electronic transaction fee? Per electronic transaction fee is an expense that business pay a service provider each time a customer payment is processed electronically. So the per transaction fee can vary depending on the service provider, but usually ranges between 0.5% and 5% plus certain fixed fee. Or in addition, there could be certain taxes that could be added to the same. So is secure pay safe? So that is also, it guarantees secure online payments that ensure to protect every transaction and customer data from fraud or other incidences of unauthorized access. Secure pay account can be managed very easily. Users can easily see the information related to the account that they need at any time. So this was all about today's lecture. If you are having any query regarding same, you can ask me any question. So here is the reference book that is given for your reference. That is a book by William Stallings and Atul Kahate. It is available in the college library. Get it issued from the library and have a look at the same. If you are having, next is today's MCQ. Have a look at the MCQ, today's MCQ. 10 questions are given for your reference that are related to today's class. I am scrolling from them one by one. And you are supposed to answer all the 10 answers. Each question is having 4 choices and you are supposed to select any one answer against 4 choices. And at the end of the class, you are supposed to submit me the answers, all the 10 answers on my email account. All of you know my email ID, so you are supposed to submit me the answers on my email. So this was all about my today's class. If you are having any query regarding same, you can ask me any question. Thank you. Have a nice day.